Okay guys, JB and Minot here. It's taken me about 10 times to record this video. These are my pickups for the month of June. If I'm not having a problem with my camcorder, I'm having a problem with my laptop. I'm not having a problem with my laptop, I'm having a problem with the glare. And now I'm having to use this webcam, and something's causing a glare, so you have to bear with me, and I apologize. But anyway, here are my pickups. Hopefully the video will get a little more joyous before the night is out. Anyway, I picked up two Nintendo Switch games this month. Cave Story Plus, and if it's anything like the 3DS version, it's excellent. It's on pretty much just about every platform out there. And like I said, I apologize for the glare. Maybe I'll put in a picture-in-picture. I don't know. I don't know if I'm even able to do that, but there's that. And an excellent game called ARMS. Now, ARMS kind of reminds me of Tank 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 for the Wii U when it came out. And in that it's very arcadey, and the colors are just fantastic. Very bright, beautiful colors. Nothing drab about it. And it's a very fun game. You're basically a robotic fighter with spring arms, and you use the right and left and the A and B buttons to swing and whatnot. You can use the flippers as simulated arms, or you can do it with a portable. You can do it with A and B buttons. It works just as well, and it's just as fun. It's got all kinds of different modes you can enjoy, and it's just a fantastic game. Fantastic game. It reminds me of Super Punch-Out or Punch-Out for the NES, only it's not as puzzle-oriented. It's more skill-oriented and practice-oriented. Okay, now I'm going to talk about 3 DS games that I ordered from Amazon.com. They're all from Europe, but altogether they cost $25, so I saved on it. Let me go ahead and start with the first one, called Glory Days 2. Now, this is a sequel to a game called Super Army Wars for the Game Boy Advance. And what it is you got a plane and you're escorting a convoy. It's side-scrolling, and you have to protect that convoy and get them to their objective on time without getting killed and in a timely manner. And that's pretty much your job. And this is a sequel to it. And as I recall, the Game Boy Advance game was really, really hard, and the graphics weren't all that great either. But it was an interesting game. It was just kind of tough. Okay, this next game is a point-and-click adventure game for the PC, adapted from the PC, called Captain Morgan and the Golden Turtle. It's basically a story-based game. It revolves around this life of this little girl who wants to be a pirate in the 1800s. And she grows up, becomes a pirate, has all kinds of different adventures. And it's a point-and-click game, a lot of puzzle elements. The only thing I really don't like about the game is that the controls are not very precise. You use the stylus, but sometimes it's not as responsive as it could be. Other than that, it's a pretty interesting game. The great music in here. I haven't gotten very far in it, but if it changes up the music a little bit and they show even more music, I'll say, man, that's one hell of a soundtrack. Okay, back in the 60s and 70s, there was a single-panel comic called Love Is. Made by, it was during the hippie era. And it featured a couple of anime-looking people, a couple, and they were naked. They didn't show anything dirty or nothing like that. It wasn't a dirty comic, but it would have a caption like Ziggy. It was more like a Ziggy comic than anything. But they adapted a game from it in Europe, which is kind of crazy. Love Is in Bloom, the Flower Shop Garden. It's basically a flower shop garden game simulation where you have a flower shop, and you grow flowers and you sell flowers and you get more equipment and whatnot. And I haven't played it yet. It looked kind of cute and it was inexpensive, so I said what the heck, and I bought it. So, and I apologize for the glare. I'm doing my best not to have this awful glare. Okay, I bought 5 3DS games this month. Okay, I only played one of them, and I'll go over that at the last, but Cooking Mama, Sweet Shop. I like the Cooking Mama games. I think they're really fun. Let me see something here, if I can take that off there. These are the Cooking Mama. These are very fun games. I like them. Some people might get tired of them. They used to be made by Majesco, but now they're made by Red Star Rising or something like that, since Majesco is no longer in business. I apologize for knowing little about this game. I just got it yesterday. Ever Oasis. And what I noticed is it's published directly by Nintendo, so it looks like it's going to be a pretty good IP. They say it's kind of a mixture between a dungeon crawler and Harvest Moon, which has dungeon crawler elements in it. Savvy style, fashion forward. I was going to wait a little while till this went down in price, but the only place to buy it was Target, and it wasn't going down in price. And the only reason I am even interested in it is because it's got pretty good reviews. I don't mind that it's designed for girls. It's still, gameplay is gameplay to me, whether it's by a boy or a girl. So we'll see. Farming Simulator 18. And last but not least, for my 3DS games, Runbow Pocket Deluxe Edition. And they've got it's a platformer where the platforms are different colors, and the screen changes colors. And when the screen changes to the color of a certain platform, that platform disappears. So you've got to figure out what to do, where to jump to next, and it's very tricky. My only problem with this game is that it's really a bit too hard. It's got every color in the rainbow here except for learning curve. And I think they could have done a lot better. They could have had an easier mode to get people into it for casual gaming, because it is a casual game, but it's just too hard. And, you know, I don't like it when my thumbs bleed trying to get through one stage. You might want to wait till it becomes more of a discount title. Also, this game is only for the new Nintendo 3DS. It's not for the old ones, so, which I don't understand why. Anyhow, last but not least are my new PS Vita games. I've got 5 of them this month. The first one I haven't played yet, I just got it yesterday, is Tokyo Xanadu. And they say this is kind of a little bit of a Persona 4 knockoff. It's a dungeon crawling RPG, action RPG, with Persona 4 elements to it. It's from Falcom, which I believe do the Neptunia games. And those are usually kind of fun, if not kind of derivative too. This next game is called God Wars Future Past. This is kind of a tactical RPG with brave default elements, in that you can change jobs and you get job points for every battle, for certain battles. And right now it's kind of, played it for a few hours, it's kind of derivative. It's not getting very good reviews. You might want to hold off on this till it's a discount title. But I'm going to play it for a little while more, see where it goes from there. Okay, now every month or every payday, I try to buy at least one limited run game for the Vita. And I got 3 this month. So the first one is, I'm going to talk about, is The Swindle. It's a cyberpunk game that critics like to pee their pants over. And what you do is you have 100 days. Each day is a mission. Whether you fail or depending on how much money you get, and you break into these areas, you break into these houses, and you have 100 days to acquire enough money to build up your equipment so that in the end you can battle a really big bad guy from space. And the more money you make, the more equipment you can buy, the more upgrades you can get. It's a stealth game. What you do is you have to make sure you're not seen by the enemy, or you hit the enemy from behind and knock them out. And they get more difficult, and the more difficult the jobs, the more money you get. And it was an okay game. The problem is I haven't quite got a handle on it. It seems like I'm dying in here and not knowing why. You can do whatever they tell you to do on the screen and yet somehow still die. Also, there are times where you can jump from all the way from the top of a building and be perfectly fine, but then you drop like half a foot and you die. So it's not very consistent in the deaths, and some of the deaths feel really, really, really cheap. But it's a limited run game. It's good for the collection. So next one, Nova 111. This is a tactical kind of a puzzler game. What you do is you're going through these areas in the spaceship, and you hit the enemies you kill the enemies by bumping into the enemies from the right angle. Make sure you're not bumping into certain enemies. that have spikes on them. But you also have what are called science powers. And with some science powers, you can shoot some enemies, or you can shoot some obstacles. And as you go through the different stages, you collect more science power, and you collect more hearts or more life power so that you can live longer. Or you collect certain, you go through the stages and you collect certain special abilities. A little bit like Metroid in that. And your main objective each stage is to save scientists and rescue them and to find secret areas. And the better you do with each stage, the better your grade at the end of the stage. And it grades you by the number of moves you make and how many scientists you find, how many secret areas you find, and stuff like that. It's a very interesting game. Graphically, it's kind of a really ugly game, though. But other than that, it's not a bad game. It's very interesting. Now for my last game of June. I didn't buy all these. It's not the last game I bought in June, but this is the last one I'm going to talk about. Mutant Mudds Deluxe. It looks like a 16-bit platformer game. I've played it a little bit. It can be a little bit difficult in some areas, but you know, looks like it's doable. But this is also a tough platformer, but it's also a very good platformer, and it's getting good reviews. And if you like platformers, you really can't go wrong with this. It's about $50, and it'll probably go up in price like all the other limited run games. Anyway, if you like platforming games, you can't go wrong with this one. Okay, let me see what we got here. Okay, guys, those are my pickups for the month of June. I apologize for any glare. I'm going to go through this and see if I can get rid of some of the glare. I don't know if I can. I apologize. I hope you can see the titles. In the meantime, I hope you all have a happy Independence Day in America and in Canada. Happy Canadian Day or Happy Canada Day. In the meantime, God bless.